People know that we are live. Here we go. Let me turn off my device so I don't have any interference. There we go. There's Kim. All right. Kim Gray in the house. There's my babe. All right. ¿Qué pasó, amigo? Salud. Okay. There's J-Mac. What's up? What's going on, guys? J-Mac, let me get you in here. All right. Levels at. There we go. Gotta turn the treble up. Oh, Kim. Yes. Salud. I got Taco Bell.
I have rum.
Good man. Good man. I would, but it is a blizzard outside, and I have to try and make it back home.
Yeah, it's probably not ideal. Although it might be a little bit more fun to try and navigate that with a little bit of liquid courage.
I know, right? Basically Canadian now anyway, right?
That's right. Essentially.
All right, let's see. Oh, here we go. All right, let's get these folks in here.
Yes, let's do this.
I get Taco Bell. I needed a fix. Right. Steven.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Oh, here. Why don't you? I don't know if there's some else. Oh, here.
Oh, we could.
It's
There we go.
There we go. Perfectly placed, as you can see.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah. That was completely an accident. So.
Yeah, definitely not any thought to that.
All right. So make sure I can hear you guys. The furnace is on, so. All right.
Just got our stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, very excited. Very excited. By the way, I'm Angelo. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you as well.
I'm Justin from the Canadian Mafia. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I didn't know, Angelo. I'm not super familiar with you. For some reason, I was like, oh, okay, because we've never seen what Jason looks like. I was
What
like,
he has.
okay, that's it's great to put a name to a face, but you're a different guy, so it's great to put a face to your name, I guess.
A face to the face. Got it. All right. So I know you're Steven, and then I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Oh, Courtney.
Courtney.
Sorry.
I knew it. I was with the C. I was close. Okay. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun time, man. To get to know you guys, and all of that. So we've been having fun with these. Very thankful for you guys being able to do this with us. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Just for the show too, just to let people know, we are going to be giving away a set. So, yes. So, stay tuned, everybody. I actually used this before I got here. Right after work, I did a shave before. So, yes, very nice.
Good?
Absolutely love.
Okay.
Beautiful scent. One of my favorite barbershops. So, but yeah, okay. So, probably one of the questions I know that that I have is what got you into it? What got you started into wet shaving, into making soap?
Sorry, on this side.
Well, I guess it started with you, and then I kind of.
Yeah, so I have been in the community since I want to say 2014.
Okay.
And so I had been, primarily straight razor shaving, and I was friends with, some of the people back then are still around now, right? The Brad Maggard and Ron Levy and just a whole bunch of the other soap makers, the Lees, Mickey Lee, Samantha and Eric, and so I kind of went through and I started doing some like razor scales and and shaving brushes and stuff like that. I kind of dabbled into blade forging for a while, but
Oh wow.
I got kind of sick of that, and I wasn't very amazing at it. But so we met and moved in together eventually. And everybody that I meet, I kind of am a shaving evangelist for. I'm sure you guys relate to that.
Well, I have really sensitive skin anyway, so I get really bad chicken skin on like my legs, or used to before I started wet shaving. And I think that's kind of why you suggested it to me.
Yeah.
To help with that.
But yeah, so I did that, and then the whole. I'm sure you guys identify with this as well. The soap market, especially nowadays, is so packed with variety and choices and that sort of thing. And at the time, things were still sort of on the incline in that direction, but there weren't quite as many prominent companies. You know, there's a lot of smaller ones.
Well, the fragrances they were all kind of...
The stuff that I had was not her taste. Right?
They were all safe. And
yeah.
And I like to go to weird places and try things.
To be fair, my favorite is Midnight Stack, Jizzle Face.
That's true.
So not safe whatsoever. Yeah. But I guess there was sort of a specific sort of pigeonhole that she was trying to get, and we couldn't really find anything that sort of worked with her taste, her vibe.
Yeah. And so I started experimenting. I mean, actually, we didn't intend to start a company at the beginning.
Yes.
I made just like a little experiment so that people went crazy over.
Yeah, so there's a guy named Lauren who is still the owner of Storybook Soapworks.
Yeah.
And so we were talking to him, and he was like, "Hey, let's try this sort of. You guys could try this as like a vegan recipe." And we kind of collaborated on it and made changes and stuff. And we sent some samples to our friends from the Reddit wet shaving group, and there was, I don't know, they were crazy about it. Not just because the base was good for the time, but that the scents that she had put together were sort of unlike anything at the time that was around. So it was,
I like the sound of that, because like you said, there's a lot of soap artisans. A lot of it is safe, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with safe, but branching out in something that's a little bit out there, kind of put yourself into that market space, and there's not really a whole lot of people that are doing that. So it's nice to have a little something that sets yourself apart from everybody else.
Yeah, our stuff's always been polarizing. I mean, the first two were pretty safe. Generally people liked it.
Yeah.
But once we kind of got that momentum going, it got weird very fast.
Yeah.
Nice.
And everything since that point has been very polarizing. Typically, it's either people love it or they hate it. There's not many people that are meh on most of it. Yeah. So we really like that because that means for a lot of people that we have made something that they love, and it's also kind of interesting to see what people hate.
Yeah.
Because it's not consistent. It's all over the place. Which ones are hated? It's not like we have one horrible one and then a bunch of good ones. It's all over the place.
Well, we never hear the same opinion about the same soap, which is interesting. Like, everyone's got just drastically different takes.
Like I said, I own this one, and I was smelling this one here with the wolf on it. Like, thank you. I know it was lichen because I recognize the symbology on that one. That, yes. And then the Tres Matres right here.
Yeah.
That was very nice too.
Mm-hmm.
So, very, very good.
Yeah, the lichen was our fourth one.
Yeah.
And that was our first one where we started, or I guess you could tell it where.
I mean, lichen was a really interesting time because I was still kind of learning fragrancing, and but I wanted to experiment and make something interesting. So it was, I think probably one of the best compliments I've gotten from somebody was, it's actually about Alchemist, but I think it applies to lichen. They said that it's like free jazz, and I love that that sort of comparison for those early sips. They're very much like free jazz, very just kind of feeling it out and letting what happens happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know when I was using this before, before I got here, the progression of it and everything, that's what I liked about it too. Like how it, I kind of start with with the barber shop, and then some of the deeper notes underneath there start to open up during the shave. Bravo. I really did like that. I don't have the splash yet. I probably will be walking out with one.
Yeah.
So.
Totally.
You restart the soap. So
no, it'll be good.
Okay.
We actually have soap cooking in the background right now. So.
That's what the beef was.
So in that vein, then, of doing things that are polarizing and pushing the boundaries a bit and challenging people, where do you get your inspiration to come up with some of these scents? Then, like, do they just kind of pluck them out of thin air, or are you kind of like, I want to create a new scent, but I really want to challenge people and see just how weird we can get? Like where does that come from?
At first, I would take like a concept. Like early on, I would take concepts and try and flesh out the smell to match the concept. Okay. But now that I've got a little more experience with things, I will order a few new fragrance aroma chemicals, and sometimes they'll strike a chord with you, and you're like, this fits with this other thing really well. And so you just start kind of, building things that way. And, sometimes we have a concept that'll try and flesh out. But
yeah, I think there's a few that come to mind specifically. We participated in a 3-way, maybe 4-way collaboration with some other artisans to do the Great Gatsby series.
Oh, yeah.
So there was the West Egg, the East Egg, and then we did the Valley of Ashes from the sections from that book. And that was with Barrister and Mann and Storybook Soapworks that I mentioned earlier. And so they're like, the guy who organized it said, it would be great if you could do this. This is kind of what this part of the book is about. And I mean, I'm familiar with it. And I was like, okay, you want to make a soap out of that? That's going to be challenging.
Yeah, it definitely turned out challenging too. Like, it's very polarizing.
But the cool thing about it is that it's, although many of the components are, if you haven't tried it, essentially pollution.
Yeah.
There is more to it that rounds it out. And actually, for me anyway, it's my favorite one. But it mellows it to the point where it's like, okay, this is like a real thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then for Tres Madres, we call it Three Mothers because it's just easier.
Yeah.
One of our favorite horror movies is Suspiria.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to try, and that was where we started with Suspiria and then went into the thing.
Well,
right?
I got the concept of the Three Mothers from Suspiria, and then I thought a lot about, like, just what that idea represented to me, and it's all very, like, just goofy in my head stuff, but I just had fun with it. I thought about a movie and a vibe that I loved and tried to match scents to it and blend in a way that's good.
Oh, can we tell the story of Banana? Because that one's hilarious.
Yes, we should tell the story.
So we did Grapefruit with Dan, I believe Bashford's his last name, from Australian Private Reserve, who's unfortunately not with us anymore, I believe. And that one was kind of lightning in a bottle. It was just everything came together right. But it's because it started with that name, which was like just the perfect name for what we were making. And so then April Fools of 2022, I don't remember which one of us or one of our friends or something, we were thinking about, like, okay, we need another fruit / sort of creepy horror Halloween thing that we can mash together. And I think we were in the car, and I was like, Banana.
Yeah.
Anyway, but if you Google that, tons of people have come up with the same thing. It's an obvious pun.
Yeah.
But I hadn't heard it, so so we posted that for April Fools, and then we started thinking, okay, it's autumn. We try and do a new scent every autumn because that's kind of our time. And
weirdly enough, I had wanted to do like a light banana scent for a while, and so I was like, this kind of works. Like this will be interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of choice for kind of simple, when you could get like a simple banana soap. I think Chisel Face makes one that's like, it's just banana.
Yeah.
And you are crazy about bananas, that's definitely the direction to go. But we were like, we want to incorporate it as a key component, but it needs to have all this other stuff to round it out and make it not just like, this is only banana.
We wanted people that don't particularly like the smell of bananas to enjoy the fragrance. So it's in there, but it's complemented by a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
And then the advertising campaign for that one was really crazy.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
Since the advent, 2022 is the advent of the AI art. So we just...
Well, and we were like, it was very hard to come up with something to market a banana-scented Halloween soap. I was like, what are we going to do? And so I thought about it, and I was like, if we feed just the most insane keywords into an AI art generator, and so we ended up doing thousands of images. Just I would spend hours like generating image after image.
Some of them we couldn't post because they were too disturbing.
Yeah,
the AI art was creating these horrific scenes of bananas and dead people and stuff.
It was pretty intense. But,
oh my gosh, like a graphic novel. You would have kept them all and put them into like a graphic novel.
Yeah, a lot of nudity and that sort of thing.
A lot of gore, which is weird. Most AI art generators won't do gore, but this one was all about it.
Had its own personality for it.
Yeah. Well, and I have like a weird, like I was an illustrator for a few years, and so I have a very strange sort of, I don't know how I feel about AI art. It's, for illustrators, it's a very scary thing. But I was like, for this once, there's no way I could generate that volume of art myself. So like, why not just go for it?
It's always hard to promote a shape. So we're not marketing people. We're also not really big social media people. And so getting on and hyping stuff, posting it in all the different communities, you do that for every single one. And it's so much that we, aren't great at and don't really have the time for, to be honest, between all of our jobs and everything.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it for you. Yeah. Don't worry.
Great. Good. That's awesome.
I got some questions here.
Yeah. Sorry, we were rambling.
No. That's perfect. No, yeah. By all means, that's awesome. No, heck yeah. I like to hear about everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Never apologize. That's why you guys are here. So we can.
Exactly. They listen to us all the time.
I wasn't actually sorry. I was just saying it to be polite. So.
No, you're good.
You Canadian by chance? Like me?
No.
He's very, very Southern.
Yeah.
He's original.
Same difference.
Banana was a great relief, Steve Mendel, and he said, any special inspiration for that one?
For Banana? I mean,
it was a challenge. Honestly, fundamentally, it was, can we make something that we're proud of that features banana? Because it's so not really something that we would go for normally.
Well, and I was like, how am I going to make bananas spooky? I guess which it seems impossible.
Yeah, because they're so good.
Yeah. I think it worked great.
I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's very, very nonsensical sort of campaign for it and very out there, but it was fun. And I'm happy with what we did.
It was just that literally, can we make something good with banana?
Yeah.
We answered that. Yes.
Yeah. I love your take on it, man. It's nice. I missed it, unfortunately, but when it comes around again, if it does.
We've got like a whole bunch of it. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and we're planning on restocking it soon. So we have a big restock coming. We're waiting on supplies to show up.
Okay. Well, count me in. Enabled right here. I know. I'm so easy. I'm an easy sale. But I love good stuff. AKA Brushworks. Hey, Stephen, it's Gardner. Well, Stephen and Courtney. How did you settle on a base? And bravo for doing a vegan base, by the way.
Yeah. So initially we were helped out by our friends with some sort of base recipes, and then I can never leave anything alone. I'm the type of person that if I get a recipe for something for food, I can't use that recipe. Like I have to tweak it and alter it, and so that's the first iteration of it was like that, and then the second iteration, the one that we're on now, I spent it was
years.
It was years.
The impetus for that one, or impetus, however you say that, I don't actually know, was that we were selling direct first on Etsy for a while, and then I built us out a website because the Etsy stuff, they take a huge fee.
Yeah.
And you can't have as much, I don't know, the customization stuff that I wanted to do. So we're selling direct for years, and then the first wholesale offer that we got was from Maverick Razors, and they approached us and said, like, how would you feel about doing this? And the thing was, we were selling our soap back then for like $12 a tub because we didn't have to worry about, because with wholesale, you lose a significant amount of that when you sell it. So you have to have like the margin built into it that you can still make money when you sell it wholesale. Yeah. And so we were looking at having to not only scale up our quantities and our prices and everything, but then we were going sort of mainstream, if you will, and we needed something that would be easier to make in larger quantities, but at the same time, she had been working on iterating it for years at that point.
Well, and the big thing with that was like I'm like I said, I'm real weird about anything that I make. I have to make it like, it has to be perfect in my eyes, almost to a fault. Like I end up not finishing most things that I attempt to try. So that thing, like, we had to simplify it and to make it better at the same time.
Yeah, because
it's this monumental.
I don't know how much you guys were in the scene in like 2017, 2018, but that was during the soap-based arms race.
Yeah.
Where every couple months you got a new Declaration base, you got a new Ariana and Evans base, you got a new Phoenix base. You got, everybody was just doing, there were some others like, there were a lot of bases that just constantly improving on themselves or forking and doing, here's our vegan one, here's our, this kind of tallow one and this kind of tallow one, all the different animals and everything. And so we were kind of just like, we've just been using the same one for a while.
Yeah, maybe it's tired.
Yeah. Just because at the time, putting out a new base meant just substantial new people coming to your brand, but also the existing people are like, well, I got to get that new one.
Yeah.
So it's, from a purely business perspective, it makes sense to do new bases.
Yeah.
Now ours that we have now has been the same since 2018, I think.
Well, and we've learned a little bit. I want to make sure that if we change anything, it's going to be 100% for the better. And it's sort of the same thing as before. Like you try a million things until you find something that's right. And when it's right, then you do it, but not until it's 100% right.
Yeah, that's a good plan. That's the way to do it. Because, well, even like last year was a bit of a, was it last year? I think it was last year, late 2021 was a bit of another arms race within the soap makers community as well. And it seems like everybody, like I said, from 2017, 2018, kind of had that soap race back then, the base race, and then
I love that.
With the pandemic and everything, everybody's stuck at home now. It's like, it's a great time to tweak on our base. And it's like, boom, here's a whole another crop of all new bases all over again. It's like, holy smokes.
Yeah, we were honestly having a hard time getting our ingredients during the pandemic. And it would take, like, when we did grapefruit during that time. And I think that I don't know if the original release is then, but we had one during that time.
I think it was two. I think it was the second.
And it took over maybe a month and a half to get the grapefruit oil from Australia.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Wow.
You had all these shipping delays and the passages being denied or whatever, the boats and planes and stuff.
Oh yeah, that was when the boat turned sideways in the canal.
Oh
right?
yeah,
And,
there you go.
Yeah.
So grapefruit was on that waiting for that boat to move.
No, we're
Maybe.
not sure, but we know it took forever to get here. That's all we know.
Yeah, but it's interesting because we get a lot of really nice emails from people.
Yeah.
And one thing that we've heard consistently since day one, but for some reason now more and more, is that they say, this is my favorite base, or this is my favorite vegan base. I can't believe I slept on this, or, you know, somebody recommended this to me and I'm so impressed and everything. And we don't let that go to our heads. But what we find interesting is that we haven't changed it in 5 years. And we still get people weekly telling us it's their favorite one they've ever used, which, you know, considering the base race, doesn't really make sense. You know?
Yeah. I mean, not that we're sad about it. I'm very glad that people still love it. Like,
yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
We do get asked when we're going to do a new one, and our answer to that is like, why? I mean, people love it. It's working. What would we change?
We will change it when I find something that is definitively better, like 100% definitively better, because it's really important to me that we not make lateral moves, that we make forward moves.
Yeah, just for like, hey everybody, we got a new base.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the other one, but come buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if
Yeah.
it broke, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's a good idea. Yeah, because changing something just for the sake of changing something and not really moving forward, then really at the end of the day, what's the point, right?
Right. Yeah. There's some stuff I'd like to experiment with in it. Like, I had some ideas that didn't really pan out in the first changeover, and like there are things I'd like to revisit, but like, you know.
Ooh, here's a good question. Challenge. Lee, is there any scent that would be too dark or challenging?
I mean, I like doing weird scents. There are some scents that I know that no one would buy, so they're completely off the table. But there's stuff that I've wanted to make that I'm like,
Oh, should we get into specifics on that?
I mean, the abandoned, like, I wanted to make a fragrance called Desolation, which I used to do a lot of urban exploration, like abandonment photography, and oh, cool, awesome. And so, you know, abandoned buildings have a very particular smell.
Yep.
Very particular.
Yes.
It's the bum pee and the mist moldiness.
Yeah, the mold, that dank carpet. Yep.
Exactly. And so I would love to make a soap out of that, but I know that people would just be like, what is this? Like, why did you make this? And then there was the black metal soap that I wanted to make, where it, like, I can't remember which black metal band it was, that they used to bury their clothes with like a dead bird or something. It's been a long time since before their shows, so that it would smell and be like rotting and gross. And so I was like, I wonder if I really wanted to encapsulate like the spirit of black metal, you know, like smoke and rot and like, and it
actual some sort of dead body, but without any animal ingredients. And so you could not use ingredients from dead body.
Exactly.
You have to create it from.
And there are chemicals that smell specifically like rotting flesh, but again, that's I realized about 20 minutes into the idea.
Like,
people are gonna be like, "What is this? Why did you do this?"
But you could make it good, I think. You made pollution good. You made banana good. That's impossible. So there you go.
I would love to make it, but it's one of those things we'd have to do in like a limited run, like very small.
Yeah.
Yes, Urbex. That would be interesting to be able to smell. So
right? Yeah.
Well, knowing this community, either one of them would probably sell because people would buy it just to smell it, right? So
I would think so.
I know so. It would happen.
If we did a limited enough run, I would think that it wouldn't. And so even if it doesn't make money, if it doesn't financially break us, it would be fun to do.
Yeah.
If it's just like a break even.
If we don't get sued for how bad it is.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's wife leaves them for.
There you go. Or they get fired from their job. Yeah. They can prove damages.
Like
urban.
I can put a warning. I was out Urbex at lunch.
Yeah. I was hanging out with a bum in a.
All right. I was giving him some change.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I know. So, out of your, well, I'll say current lineup, but I'm saying like all total lineup. What is either one of you's like favorite scent of your brand right now?
I mean, that's easy for me.
I already said mine, the Valley of Ashes one. It's because Midnight Stag is my favorite, and Valley of Ashes is kind of Midnight Stag's kissing cousin. They have a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
And that wasn't intentional. It's just that the parameters that we were given necessarily had things in common with it because
and a lot of the notes were actually dictated to us.
Yeah, that's true. And it was sort of like make something good with this, and so we added in stuff.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that I would like that. But if you had to, if that one's too obvious maybe, then Labyrinth is fantastic. Labyrinth and Valley are the ones that I'll steal off the shelf. I won't steal any of the other ones off the shelf. And I have it, we'll make a whole bunch of bath bars, and I'm like, okay, these are for me because I need them. And when I run out of my Midnight Stag bars, I got to use the Valley bars. And when I run out of those, I got to use the Labyrinth bars. But anyway, Labyrinth is just so fantastic. I honestly wish that we had it sooner.
Yeah, I do too.
Because it's, I really can't praise it enough. I have nothing to do with the scents. Like when they're done, I get to smell them and be like,
experiment on it with them. So he does sort of, his input is important.
I kind of know, even though I might not like it, I used to at least know what was like going to be popular or accepted with the community and what was going to be polarizing or what was going to be terrible. So we kind of, take that into consideration. But yeah, this one was, as soon as I smelled it, is slam dunk. So it's funny because we were working on Labyrinth and the Gothorum soap at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so it was the sort of situation where we had like, you spilled chocolate in my peanut butter, where there was some of that stuff. And then we were like, okay, yeah, there's something to that.
Actually works. Yeah. I think for me, I mean, as far as fragrances or soaps that I use Bunana more than anything else.
That's
but
true.
From like a technical perspective, I think the best achievement is Carpathia, because it legitimately smells like an old castle somewhere. And nice. I enjoy it. I would never use it because it's a very, very manly smell. But like I feel like technically that's my
most proud
achievement. I'm most proud of Carpathia.
Yeah, I need to smell that one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that sounds good actually. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's got like old castle smell, a little bit of wine in there.
That one was, so we did a double release in December of, I want to say 2019, maybe.
I think so.
And maybe earlier, that we did Carpathia and Carmilla as a sort of like yin and yang kind of thing. So we took the sort of classic like Dracula type of theme thing, and then there's this story of Carmilla, which is the first one of the first ever vampire
it's very
tales,
early,
but it's about a female vampire. Mm-hmm. So we kind of had like they were designed to be, Carpathia is sort of the male one and Carmilla is a female one. But the interesting thing is we consistently hear from everybody that buys Carmilla how masculine they think it is, which is funny because it was
everyone's sense of smell it's drastically different.
Yeah, it's not like it has pink bows or anything on it where we're like, okay, ladies, this is our one we made for you.
No.
It was just intent versus outcome was very interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need to, man, there's so much to that because I've only been in this for about a year. Mm-hmm. So since 2021, Crystal and I. So, I mean, there's like so much wet shaving history, that's just awesome. I'm just excited to see what's coming up, what's going forward too. Oh. So, doing this and getting to know everybody, which is so cool. So, of course, my beautiful co-host over there too, he's been in the game longer than me. So there's a lot of stuff that he knows that I have no clue about. So
yeah, I've been in the the same as Southern Witchcrafts. So about 2014, I think, is when I started. So
yeah, I mean, you could have a whole college course on the history of the artisan shaving community since 2012.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, yeah.
2013, starting with Dapper Dragon on out. I think he was sort of the first one.
Well, in the culture too, there's a lot of like
there's just so much
jokes and like really fun culture.
There's been all the rise and fall of companies, and some of them coming back, and then there's the sense where it's like that's never going to get made again, and then it comes back.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of really strange human situations, whether it's like drama or like wholesome things that have happened where the community comes together and does something really great. So it's for the people that are just starting, it's really great to have them here. But it's also funny because we're like these old grizzled people, like, back in my day, these were different.
Well, yeah, because well, it's funny because you mentioned that, because I remember like back in our day, like 2014, I seem to recall there really wasn't many artisans. There was, I mean, I can only name a couple, right? Like from back then, like Katie's Bubbles, I remember was really, really big back then. And then How to Grow a Mustache was just kind of cutting his teeth, and then there was some stuff around that. But then he did the rebrand to Phoenix, and there was a few others that are
the big one
at the moment.
The big one that got their start around that time was Barrister and Man was right around there.
Right.
That's
right. Yeah, because he came out of I remember when Barrister and Man started. Now, because he kind of came out of nowhere and then just blew up. But it was an interesting time, and then as you guys know, since then to now, it's just like holy smokes, so many artisans, and then we've lost a few and lost some really good ones too, unfortunately. Like Mickey Lee, like they were really good, but they get out for the right reasons, though. They didn't get out for lack of sale. They get out due to real life work commitments and stuff like that. But it's been interesting for sure.
It's funny seeing how many stories that are similar to ours, where it's just someone do it in a kitchen for themselves, and then they let someone try it, and then it just explodes. But there's other success stories where they plan it from the start as, I'm going to make this business, here's my release, and I'm hit the ground running, And we didn't have, that's not something I think we ever would have thought to do.
No,
so
not at all. Because like I would say a good 75% of our time is spent experimenting, making new things, and like not just soap. Like we're constantly trying to make. Like we went through a phase where we were making like knives and things, and
we make these crazy wind chimes with like pipes that big and like 3 feet long.
They're huge.
You can hear them through the whole neighborhood, just like a ball.
Oh, nice.
We've done so many things. I mean,
we
do music, and we do I don't know. There's too much. It's too much to list. I can't even start to.
No, but that's awesome though. That creativity, that it has to be nurtured somehow. So medium is like as a soap and fragrance. So being able to execute all of that and let it just kind of flow. It's so awesome.
Cool.
So awesome. Love it.
Oh yeah, Sterling got their start around then too. Sully Cortez pointed out that is a gigantic thing that happened.
Yeah. And that was the same thing too. It was just a matter of they saw something that was out there, and they're like, we can probably do this, if not do it better. So that's how. It's so cool. It's so cool. Let me see what else we got here. My wife, Crystal, she asked, what hobbies do you guys have outside of traditional shaving? And that kind of leads into my question, because I know, Steven, you said, Courtney, do you also wet shave?
Oh, yeah. No, I have been like I said, I have a really, really sensitive skin.
Yeah.
And so I had a really big problem with, I would break out into hives randomly from shaving, and just like, it was a big
the kind of razors that they market towards women at the drugstore.
Yeah, they're not great.
and coupled with, I mean, we all know this, coupled with the sort of the shaving foams and stuff that they market. Sorry, I'm like doing things in front of your face. Yeah, it's just a very bad combination, and coupled with different skin types, and plus the techniques people use where they don't know about pressure and grain direction and all that, it makes a huge difference. So.
Yeah.
But now she has almost more stuff than I do at this point.
Yeah. Well, I'm shaving more real estate. So.
Yeah. She's got
I have like a tiny spot under your beard.
Oh yeah. Well, I have.
And your head.
But she's got like 3 Wolfman razors that.
Oh wow.
Pretty crazy, and we have a bunch of vintage stuff, but there's just our entire bathroom is just full of like experimental.
Yeah. Courtney, you and Crystal would get along. 90% of the shave den is hers.
Oh, cool.
So,
yeah. See, it's good to have 2 people in one house that like it, because it takes up so much space that if both people aren't in on it, it's a problem.
Yeah. Well, there's 4. Both our daughters wet shave.
Okay. Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a new generation of people.
Yeah. Yeah. So they grab their soaps, and when I was lathering up, our youngest, our 12-year-old, she comes in, because they wanted to smell and everything. So she grabs, I'm lathering because I scoop, and so I set the puck down, because after I scoop out and I'm working the lather, she grabs it and makes off with it. She's like, oh yeah, this is nice. I'm going to use this next. And
mine now. Like
our we have a friend / customer type person, but mostly friend, who he goes by Itchy Pooter online is his handle, and he loves to tell the story of he will regularly be in his house and not know where at the time she was 4, can't find his 4-year-old, and she will be in the closet with huffing his shave soap, just obsessed with smelling it.
Yeah.
And the smell thing is like, when I started out, I never would have expected that the scent would play such a big role in it, and it's only continued to play more and more of a role over time. So.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's one of the things I love the most about it. Right, depending on your mood, you can go reach for a scent, and and if you're in a good mood, it can elevate your good mood, and if you're in a bad mood, it can make you in a good mood. So it's a beautiful part of the hobby, or the lifestyle, I like to call it. For a lot of us, it's not so much a hobby anymore. It's a lifestyle at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be therapeutic too. Like I'm a very, very anxious person, and so sometimes having a nice fragrance in a bath and like all of that just takes all the stress out of you, and you can put it aside and just do your thing. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I will sit in and go through the shave den and a cabinet and just smelling everything, especially because I work from home. So if I'm doing something and I get stressed about something, I'll go grab soap, or I have a soap sitting on my desk. No lie.
I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah. So this would be my therapy soap for the day.
It was kind of a shame, honestly, because we also have lots of just fragrances that we like to use in terms of like EDP, EDC, EDT. And during pandemic, it's like, well, I'm just doing this for me and her now, because you can't really go anywhere and be like, hey, everybody smell me. So
yeah. And our employee, I guess she could smell us.
There you go.
Yeah, it definitely is therapy. It's self-care. It's finding your Zen mode. 100%.
Yeah.
So let me see what else we got out here. Soap Huffers Anonymous. That needs to be a thing. Yeah.
Hey, it's only a problem if you admit to it.
Yeah. There you
go.
go.
I don't have a problem. You do.
I don't have a problem. I enjoy it.
So, Ken, mostly vintage, beautiful man, by the way. Smells great. Which of your scents now would you recommend somebody? In other words, what would you deem for somebody that was just getting into your brand? Like what?
Safe, right? Like approachable, maybe. Yeah.
Like Labyrinth, I would think. That's like our.
Yeah. So Carpathia that she mentioned is our most sort of middleist in terms of, it's very consistent sales. It's not very polarizing. It's pretty, I said before everything is, but the exception might be Carpathia, because it's just sort of, it's been like a, like, I don't know what you call it. It's been sort of a...
consistent,
like a watermark, I guess, where
there's no one that I've ever met that hates Carpathia.
Yeah.
So.
And if you do, just, don't mention it. But Carpathia and Labyrinth are ones that we made specifically to not be horrifically scary. We wanted, because we realized that we were sort of alienating a lot of potential customer base, even more so than we already do with our company name, which was just like just a random thought in 2017 that we're kind of stuck with. But
I'm glad we got it. But
so our first sort of crowd pleaser that we did was we did Deserology, which was our first barbershop. And of course it is very weird and not like most of the other ones, but it is one of our most popular, like consistently year after year.
Yeah.
And we get it's a lot of people's first one. But so that Deserology, Carpathia, Labyrinth is the way you want to go, in my opinion anyway.
That sounds about
So it's like your benchmark sense, and kind of like dip your toes into the Southern Witchcrafts pool, then, and then.
Yeah, they're not the most popular, because the most popular ones are our autumn themed ones.
Yeah. And some of those can be very, very polarizing.
Yeah.
Autumn ash is very smoky, very ashy. So
it's funny because so we started the whole journey of all of this because she wanted something that had a particular autumn smell and theme to it. We were going for like, okay, we need like the burning leaves and pumpkin and all that stuff. And
there's a Typo Negative song where he describes a woman's perfume as smelling like burning leaves. And that's always just been seared into my brain and so I wanted to make that basically as a soap.
But I guess the problem at the time was that we didn't really have the skill to pull it off. And so we have some early versions of it, and I think I might still have some of it around. And they're good, but they're also very amateur.
Yeah.
And so a few years later, we revisited this idea, and now it is in either top 1 or 2 every year.
Yeah.
So but there's a lot of controversy with it because people read what's in it, and I think they start to your mind kind of plays tricks on you. Like, remember when Heinz put out the green ketchup?
Yeah.
And so you think it's horrible, but if you ate it blindfolded, you wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
It's just because you see that it causes a problem. And so people see that we have in some of these things like these mildew notes or these fungus notes, and they're like, oh, this just smells like mushrooms. This just smells like mildew. And, if you smell that, that's totally cool. I understand that. But I think a lot of it might just be because it's there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think a lot of the time people use these aroma chemicals. Like a lot of companies use these aroma chemicals. They just don't refer to them as like mildew. There's a specific chemical that we use that smells like straight mildew, but a person making a perfume for mass production isn't going to call that mildew. They'll come up with some other name, and I don't like to sugarcoat it. I want you to know that there's a mildew note in there that, if your nose is built for it, it's going to smell it. It's there.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of ours that we had retired but we're potentially bringing back is very, very mushroom heavy.
Yes.
And it's, if you see that on something that's like, hey, this smells like dirty mushrooms, it's going to put a lot of people off.
Yeah.
But
not me.
I think the really unique thing about the fragrances that she creates, this is not me tooting my horn, but just showering her with compliments, is it's the same thing like Banana. She takes something very, very weird and is able to wrap it in this sort of shell of these other really good things. And so that thing is there at its core, but it is tied in with so many contrasting and complementing things that the end result is completely different. It's nothing like what you started with.
Well, it's like jasmine. Like most, when you smell jasmine, the fragrance jasmine, a lot of what we recognize as the fragrance of jasmine is a chemical called scatol, which is essentially poop smell. But people love jasmine, but it is a chemical that it's poop smell that's in there. So like, a lot of the art of perfuming, of making something good and different, I think, is taking things that people wouldn't normally like the smell of and making it good, making it smell nice.
Nice. See, that's what I love. It's like somebody handing you, like, you know, blindly, like a burrito. You don't know what's inside of it till you bite it, you know?
Yeah.
But if someone tells you that there's something weird or gross in it, it's going to completely...
Like, this is an anchovy burrito.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like there's a lot of people that are averse to eating like organ meat or like tongues and haggis and all, you know, the hearts and the parts of the animals that we in the United States don't typically eat. But people that try it unknowingly consistently love these foods.
Yeah.
And so it's really just, but if you told them this is a cow's tongue, please eat it, they're going to be horrified. Unless they're just super open-minded and they can, you know. But
All right, I've enabled a couple people here that they ate cow tongue.
Oh, really?
Like,
And they all approved and now hooked. So you're welcome. Right.
Well, I mean, we can't really condone eating cow tongue because of the nature of our sort of philosophy here. But...
I try not to be the judgy vegan, so I'm not going to be the judgy vegan. I think everyone should just let other people be, you know?
Yeah, you know, around the time that we started this, I guess what I had forgotten to mention is that there might be scents that a person likes, but if you have a sort of a preference or a self-imposed moral restriction on the products that you use, because she specifically does not use anything with animal products in it, which a lot of people have that stance. And making a vegan soap, of course, is going to expand your market necessarily because of that. But then the challenge that every vegan soap company has always had to overcome is the bias that people have in their head that, okay, there's no animal fat in this. So are you really giving it a fair chance, or is your preconception going into it tarnishing your opinion of it? And so having to overcome that, especially during the base race, was very difficult.
Yeah.
And I think we've stood the test of time, though, where people say, I can't believe this is vegan. We hear that a lot.
And that's what I was shooting for with it. Like, I want to make something that people that aren't vegan still want to use. And so in a way, you're making less people buy non-vegan things. Yeah, you're kind of getting them to buy a vegan thing.
Yeah, you're kind of tricking them into your own morality in a way.
Well,
so
yeah, I love your guys' base, you know, and I love that you were able to get that performance. And you know, I actually try to, you know, prefer to use more vegan bases. You know, because I love what they do to my skin.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a good tallow base too. But, you know, working with, you know, like vegan type products and stuff like that, and, you know, where you're not having to worry about lots of byproducts or anything like that. It's, you know, I just love the performance of it. I love what it does for the skin. You know, I wish, you know, I was more inclined to kind of venture more into the lifestyle.
I veer back and forth from being an ovo-lacto vegetarian to a vegan.
Yeah.
Just because it's so hard to maintain the strict vegan lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, that's like me. Like, I'm pretty much celiac, so I can't have grain bread or anything like that. And you know how hard it is?
That is impossible. Like, that's a really hard situation to be in.
Right.
Like, yeah. Exactly. As hard as it is to stick to because, you know, there are challenges when it comes to sourcing ingredients, because there's many animal-derived fragrance components that are in aroma chemicals that we have to avoid and we have to find a way around.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's obviously the tallow, but there's also potential ingredients for aftershaves and things like that. And the problem is it's sort of a moving goalpost for us being perfect about it, because as soon as we hit the no animal products thing, which of course we do, then we get people asking, well, is everything all natural? And then it's like, well, in order to achieve what we were going out for, doing it all natural would be very difficult, if not impossible. Yeah. And then it's like, well, is all your packaging recyclable and everything? And it's like, well, technically, yeah, like you can reuse a shave soap tub and you can reuse an aftershave bottle, but it's not going to compost or anything.
Well, I think it's a learning experience. Like when we started out, we didn't know how to source a lot of those things, and so the further I get into it, the more responsible I try to be with the sourcing of things. Like there's an ingredient, white sage, in some of our soaps. And white sage is very specific smell. It's not something you can really recreate with other things, but it's hard to source ethically. And so we actually spend a lot more on our white sage to make it an ethical product, because we don't want to contribute to sort of the bad situation that some people using white sage are
there's a number of things like that where we specifically sought out sources that weren't using it for like animal testing and all that kind of stuff. And of course you never know what's happening. A lot of time, we get a lot of stuff that's like, if it's made in China, you have no idea. You really can't.
Yeah.
But you do your best, right? You do what you can.
Completely different, like dragonfly eyeballs or something. You're like, it's supposed to be plasmid.
My biggest fear is, you always worry that a person you're buying from isn't being like completely straight with you about something, or you have to be very paranoid as a business owner about that.
I don't know if it was during y'all's time, but there was this horrific video that surfaced of a badger farm in China they were beating the badgers with like a chair leg, and it was horrifying. And there's a lot of people that moved away from badger brushes at that point because they realized like this is kind of weird, not very horrifying.
Yeah.
So
and it's very controversial because because it's part of a diet there, so lots of that comes from the byproduct, like the way we would use to make leather. Same thing there. It's a byproduct of their meat industry, and then we would not think about eating badgers. But it's just part of what they have to do to survive.
And even if North Americans don't buy, even if some North Americans stop buying badger brushes, they're still going to do it over there anyway. So I guess in a roundabout way, it's like by buying badger brushes, at least that part of the animal isn't going to waste, because they're just going to do whatever they want anyway, whether any of us here agree with it or not, right? Not that I personally agree with big badgers.
And there's
it's synthetic, so
I use synthetic too, but honestly, it's because I have a weird reaction to badger hair. Like I get hives. My skin is strange, but
because we'll get each of the new declaration grooming batches of hair, because each one's very different, and so I will try them, and if there's one that's amazing, which several of them have been, I'm like, you have to try this, and she's like, it just gave me a rash. It was terrible.
I think I might be allergic to something that's in badger hair, or I don't know, but
maybe you're blind. Can reject it though.
Maybe I'm allergic to everything, so it makes sense that
definitely you and Crystal would definitely get along.
I guess the reason I bring that up is that with all the number of artisan badger hair producers that we have, plus all the knot factories in China and wherever else, there's really not a lot of choices on where you get this stuff. And I think in Europe, there's places where they're trying to do it more humanely, but they don't have I don't think they have the scale, and plus the price point. The reason businesses buy stuff from China is because it's cheap as hell, and it's really hard to run a business without it. And I really respect the Made in America brands or Made in UK or wherever else.
We definitely strive to be as not dependent on buying things from China as possible, though. Like it's.
Yeah, but when it comes to, there's certain things like, where are we gonna we looked for years to find these black glass aftershave bottles specifically, and it was finding like the right thing, that would work with what we have as far as like the the labels that we wanted, and then the size of the orifices and everything, which is what they're called. It's not
it's not him being weak. They're actually called orifices.
There you go. But I don't delude myself about where that's made, but we don't really need to drag it out. Are there more questions?
It's definitely is, like I said, bravo for sticking through that and doing what you do, and being able to bring a product, like you said, not only for us to enjoy, but also to help express your guys' morals when it comes to that. So bravo for that, for sure. Definitely. But yeah, I know, Crystal, and I kind of went off the side there. Outside of wet shaving, I know you said you guys are like into like stuff and things like that.
That's right. 20 minutes ago, you did ask that.
Sorry.
All right.
Hobbies, like I guess that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff.
We'll name the easy ones. We have lots of
Musical
stuff for music. Yep.
Yeah.
She does 3D modeling, and I do 3D printing. So it's kind of a nice mesh there. She'll create something and I make it come to life. We mentioned the wind chimes. That one's really fun, but we don't get a lot of requests for them. But there's a lot that goes into it, as far as like tuning the pipes and selecting the complementary notes and everything, and then making the hangers. I like to do the with the hybrid material that I use for brushes. So obviously that's a big one of mine. I guess you could call it a hobby, but it started as a hobby, and now it's something that I do a lot for business. But I started doing cutting boards that people had asked me for, like friends had asked me for, and then I got into CNC as a result of that, because you can make cutting boards that I don't know if you've seen any of the ones I posted, but they have a pattern engraved in them in which wood has been engraved in a mirror image that you join together, and then you have a 100% wood cutting board that has a very intricately carved details and stuff like that. And so,
cool.
That's so awesome.
And we play a lot of, not a lot. We play
a lot of
video games. We play
reality.
video games casually. We kind of float around to what we're playing. So we'll do like Nintendo stuff and then move to PC stuff. But we've been on a virtual reality kick for the last few years since the pandemic started, because it's a great way to connect with people. And like in a lot of these experiences, you feel like you're there.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. And
I guess I like sculpting, doing like props,
you should expand on that.
I don't know if it's a good idea to expand on that.
So if you look through our photos, not our most recent ones, but starting from last year back, you'll notice if you look closely, in each one of them, there's what appears to be a dead body.
And it's hidden in a lot of the photos. Like, you wouldn't expect it to be in the photos. I don't think people realize it's there a lot of the time.
Yeah, so we went through a phase of trying to, just as like a learning experience of making, because good Halloween props are very expensive.
Yeah.
Stuff that's like convincing, not just like, here's a plastic bone skeleton.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we took one of those plastic bone skeletons, and she was able to recreate pretty much perfectly, in a horrifying way, the appearance of a corpse, to such a degree that we had to keep it out of our front yard because so many people were concerned about it.
I would hide it around the house so that Steven would walk into the room
Yeah,
and see a dead body.
She put it in this computer chair. I turned on the light, and I just about shit myself, because it's, in the middle of the night, you don't want to see that. Even if you know it's there, you still don't want to see that.
Oh my God, that is so awesome. I love it. Love it. It's like, I don't know if you guys ever saw, like, when they used to do MTV Cribs, Rob Zombie's house.
Yeah.
When he had that giant, like, life-size predator at the foot of his
that's awesome.
His theater in his basement.
Yeah, definitely.
But
so awesome.
If I could get a life-size predator anywhere in our house without Steven murdering me.
No, that would be great. No. Just don't hide it in my bed.
Well, that's like the point. That's the whole purpose.
But I am really big into cigars. That's a big one for me. I started doing like the pen spinning stuff recently. That's really fun. And we have 3 dogs and 2 cats. And so I'd say that kind of counts as a hobby just because of how much time you spend with them and taking care of them.
Yeah.
And feed them, and like they're
How
basically
is Norman, by the way?
Norman? Yeah. How is he, or how old is he?
No, how is he?
Oh.
Norman.
He's doing really good now.
Yeah.
Like he went through a phase where he was a little upset. He was peeing on our bed for some reason. We don't know what got into him, but we've figured out how to calm him down. And
He had some anxiety problems.
Typical Norman.
typical Norman.
Yeah, we I don't know, we have lots and lots of tools and devices and stuff so that when the inspiration strikes, like we built Norman a gigantic cat house that attaches to our brick exterior, and then in the window there's a cat door that he can come out. And this thing is, I mean, it's huge, and it took us days I designed it in, doing the we designed it with the 3D modeling stuff, and then we, bought the supplies and everything, and we built it, and we kitted it out, so he's got like a hammock, and he's got a bed, and they have food and water and toys and all that. But it has, access for getting in there and cleaning all that stuff, and they love it. They spend so much time out there. So we put a security streaming camera in there so that we can just like see what they're doing, and it's really funny.
Because I'm a little overprotective of the cats. Like if I think they're not in the house or they've gotten out, I sort of freak out, like because they're basically my kids. Like
another big one is over the last year or so, we got really big into Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And so, but there's lots of things with that work for us. So she will design the miniatures for people.
Yes.
And then I will print them, and we can paint them, and then it's like you get this sort of custom thing that is really, really cool. And I started making dice, which a lot of those have turned out great.
Yeah, very nice.
You can use the 3D modeling software to put whatever you want on dice. And so I've got some interesting ones that I did. You can put your logo on there, or you can put like the dick butt meme. It's really whatever you want, and I've done both of those, and they came out fantastic.
And
But actually, will you grab one of the dice trays?
Yeah.
Actually, get the coffin and the dice tray.
Okay.
So when you start D&D, you start off with one set of dice, and then by your second week of D&D, you have about 100 dice. And so there's lots of different solutions for storage and organization, because you're not going to get rid of any of them. It's like shaving soaps. You haven't used that one in 3 years, but you might still need it, right? So I saw some things online that you could get, and I sort of kind of changed it around. And so I have these boxes where it's just like it's like walnut with felt, or felt. This one's foam, actually.
Yeah.
And so you see it has the engravings of what type of dice it is up there, and then they're just resin filled in with that color, and then inside it's full of dice that I've made.
Oh,
nice.
And so you can just reach in there and grab the ones you need, throw them here because it's got the rolling and everything. But for Courtney, we wanted to do something sort of on brand. So she was playing a Kenku character, which is basically like a 3-foot tall crow. And so we took this graphic on here, and so that's resin inlay in there. And then we made this coffin that is like modeled from real coffin dimensions. And then inside, it holds the dice, and then it has the rolling spot. So I think we're super proud of that one. And then I made her a Norman dice.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Just stuff like that. You're like, it'd be cool if we had this. And then we're just like, all right, we got to do that. We got to do it right now.
Anything we can learn to make, we generally want to make. Like anything I can paint. I love painting. I don't do that as much right now. I do like weird phases where I'll paint and phases.
Ooh, still the dice.
Yeah, it needs some. It needs some Canadian Mafia dice.
Yeah.
Can do.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be so awesome.
Oh yeah, there's some giant ones that I made that
They're huge.
Oh wow, that is awesome. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Well,
it's very unrelated to soaps.
We should give this away. Some lucky winner.
Oh yeah, of course. I didn't realize we were doing it during the stream.
Oh yeah,
it's happening right now.
Oh yeah, it's full on. Yeah.
So how do we?
Yeah.
How do we pick?
So we got 1 to 43. We got 43 viewers right now. So guests would pick a number, and that would count, and then see who wins. So one.
Some dice, huh?
Yeah, dice seem like a good idea.
So 2 20-sided dice would give you. Well, it wouldn't give you one though, so we have to think about that. Oh, we could roll a D100, and then
there you go.
We'll take the first one that gives you a something under 44. Obviously.
Yeah.
So let me.
Do we have a D100?
Well, you can just do it with these.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Actually, let me get some that have higher contrast.
Oh yeah, so you can actually see it.
Yeah. So here's these ones that I made that are just black and white.
Oh, nice. We're doing it with D&D dice. Sorry. So cool.
So we're gonna roll until we get something that is a 44 or less, and on these, the 0 is a 10. Okay, and on the 100 or on the 10s dice, the 0 is 100. So 10 and 100. So if you see, for instance, this is 100. So anyway, so we'll just see what happens. Can we just wait a little bit? Okay. Okay, we got 37.
Okay.
There
now
you go. Keep counting in.
See you guys in a bit.
That's a first. Every show is gonna need some custom dice now.
Yeah. So how do you know who is number 37?
On the screen, well, each of us is different, has a different ordering of people. But up at the top, you see the little down arrow beside the live. If you click on that, it shows who all is in the lobby and watching. So we just scroll down through the list of people that are watching, not including us. So the very top 3 names would be Southern Witchcrafts, the Razor Company, and the Canadian Mafia Show, and then we go down past that and then just count to the number.
Cool.
Sleeping.
Awesome.
8A, Ernesto Ochoa Jr.
8A.
Sleepy
Nice.
8A. So Ernesto
is an OG. He catches all the shows. So
yeah,
is that right,
Ernesto?
Well, you got
somebody that really is going to appreciate it. Then that's
cool. Oh yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
Yeah, Lisa, totally not rigged. Yeah, the Rigger 3000 is working hard today.
Yeah, well, it's pretty hard to rig that, Lee. So it's not like the Canadian Mafia Show where it's completely biased and rigged. But
the dice are weighted. We weighted the dice.
Totally weighted. It happens. He's got to be here, so I got to ink pen so I can write this down. But we'll remember.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
And I'm going to write down for you guys if you can. I guess if you want, I can send them to you and you send them to him. I'm going to give you a full sample set of all of our stuff so that you can sort of go through it and you can try it and see whatever. But there's some we're missing right now because Black Friday plus Christmas cleaned us out.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time for us to build back up because we sell so much. We have so many different things. So we're kind of in the middle of the restock right now.
Nice.
And
but that's a good problem to have, though.
So
definitely.
It'll probably be a few days before it's ready, but let me remind myself to do it.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I
sure.
get my nose on some of those because, like I said earlier, I do really enjoy weird scents, and every scent you've talked about has been like, oh yeah, I'd go for that. So
cool.
That's
awesome.
Yeah. This one is the only one that I have. I just have the soap. I'm
probably
going to watch.
What's your Instagram handle so I can get in touch with you?
J-Mac or me?
Me.
You might
Oh,
as well send it to you first, Angelo, and then we'll work out how you get it to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, should I just talk to you on here, or do you have a different
Yeah.
account? Or?
Angelo.Amador Jr. So Angelo, and then the period, and then AMADORJ.
I actually, we have a family family that's the Amadors, and I think I want to say they're originally from Cuba. I don't know if that's like a common surname in different countries or if it's specific. Oh no, they can't hear us.
Oh no.
What is that?
This is a weird audio thing.
What is that? Can you hear me? Can the people at home hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh.
Oh.
Can he hear us?
I don't know if he can hear us.
Oh.
There's something wrong with your audio, I think, Angelo.
Oh.
Can he sign? Can he write?
Somebody type in the comments that Angelo's audio went out or something.
We lost audio. Yeah, I figured. I mean, when he couldn't hear him anymore.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. Oh. You are awesome. Oh.
Thank you.
You got to write backwards, I guess, for everybody.
Is that how that works? Oh, it is how it works. Yeah.
There you go. Science.
Yeah, I'm trying, KG. I can only do so much at once. Angelo, it's on Angelo's end.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I guess we'll have to call it here. Right? So.
I'm trying, KG. I'm trying. Well, I guess if that's Angelo, type in the comments. Angelo can't hear me. Man, I gotta try the phone here.
Well, I guess you gotta take us out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was really, really, really cool to have you guys on. Really great to put some names to the faces and get to hear some of Southern Witchcrafts. Like I said, really intrigued. So I can't wait to get my nose on some of these samples and see what it's all about.
Yeah, we really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
You guys have obviously a great company and social media presence and everything, and it's always cool to see the collaborations and the new stuff that's coming. And we were really grateful for the opportunity to make the exclusive for the Razor Company, the Goth Orm soap, and we were really happy with how that one came out. And but it's awesome to be on here and talk to you guys and to get the questions from everybody. And I guess we would say, if anybody has any questions, or we get lots of like ideas for stuff, and we really appreciate those. So we're just normal people, we're not like celebrities or anything. So if you message us or email us, we'll get back to you like right away. So
and where's the easiest place people to get a hold of you at then?
Our Instagram is just at Southern Witchcrafts, and our website is southernwitchcrafts.com. We have our
info at Southern Witchcrafts.
Yeah, we have the email on there. Our Facebook page is just Southern Witchcrafts. I mean, it's the same everywhere. So.
Excellent. Well, sorry your audio crapped out, Angelo. I guess you have to listen to me talk for a bit, but but we can see you. You're still moving. You're still alive. Blink twice if you're okay.
Oh, that guy! He can't hear us. We're making fun of him.
Oh, I guess he can't hear us at all, can he? All right, Angelo. I'll type it. So he can shut it down.
Oh, he can hear us now. Shit.
Oh.
Are you back, Angelo?
All right, guys. Thanks for having us.
Right. He's got to end it. So
Enough of us rambling.
once he sees my comment there, he'll know that to end it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much once again.
Yeah, thank you too. Have a good night.
Not a problem. You too. Take care.